Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be working on the gas system of my motorhome. It's an upgrade. Currently I've got a locker with Calagas bottles in it. Now Calagas is becoming more and more unobtainable. Also, if you can get hold of it, it's becoming an extortionate price. So that is one of the reasons for my changing over to a refillable gas system. Not only that, we're going to be living in the van and we're going to be travelling throughout Europe. And in Europe, they much prefer, and in fact in a lot of petrol stations, they've got these refillable gas points. So it's a no-brainer really. Now there's two methods of refilling these gas bottles: via a fill point on the outside of the motorhome, or you can choose another method that Gasit offer, and that's called an in-locker system, and that's what I'll be using. So all we've got to do then is crack on and do it. One thing I want to say before I get started is that I'm dealing with gas here, and if you do the same, make 100% sure that you feel confident enough in what you're doing, and when you have finished the job, have it checked by a professional, someone who is gas safe approved and can work on LPG, who will test this and tell you that it's safe. Don't just take my word for it. Anyway, let's crack on. Now my motorhome was manufactured in 2005, and as such the gas compartment doesn't quite comply with the current regulations. The two bottle holders have got the top cradle support but got nothing on the bottom, so I'll have to add that. Now there's no dump vent that you get on a more modern motorhome. Instead I've got this slot all the way along the front here that's open to atmosphere that would allow any gas leak to seep through and not build up. So that will be okay. I'm going to use the original pigtail to the regulator, and the doors have got air ventilation in them. So far so good. The actual door and compartment itself has got a rubber seal around it and it is locking. So it's only really the bottom bottle supports that I need to add. Apart from the actual refillable bottle itself, which will depend on the size of bottle that you want, these are all the components you need for an in-locker single bottle system, and that's all I'm going to be using for my upgrade. You've got the fill point, mounting screws, back plate, and then here you've got the fill point connector or fitting. You get two of these, one's on the bottle at the moment. I've got a bottle gas level indicator to fit, the in-locker bracket, and I've also got a meter of the filling hose. So it's very, very simple. This is all I need to upgrade my system to refillable gas. I've taken off this carrying shroud that comes with the bottle and on the top here. I don't really need it. It's going to be inside this locker and it's permanently fixed in there, so I'm not going to be taking it in and out. Also, it gives me a lot more access to the valves at the top of the bottle. This is the support bracket for the base of the bottle, and that will fix in at the bottom there. I can just drop it into that bracket and tighten up the cradle strap, and that's not going anywhere. And now I've got complete access to the valves at the top. This is the in-locker bracket, and as you can see it's quite a substantial thickness, so it's not going to bend or flex. And what you do, you also order a filling point, and this one has got the adapter for the filling nozzle. I've also bought a full set of these nozzle adapters for European filling stations. There's a set of 5 there. Apparently they should cover all the variants of the gas stations abroad. come in this nice bag, and I'll keep them inside the locker for when I want to use them. But what you do is, this is going to go inside the locker, and this will go like that, and I'm going to position it round about here, so I can fit it there, and then it'll be a natural curve with the hose from this right around the back into the filling point. So all the hoses are nice and naturally flexed. I've been able to keep my existing pigtail and regulator, seeing as it's just an upgrade, but it's an older 2005 motorhome, so I've had to buy a converter. So bear this in mind if you've got a similar setup. You'll need a gas bottle outlet to UK POL fitting like this. Now when it comes to preparing the gas inlet pipe, I suggest you get yourself a pair of these plastic pipe cutters. They'll make your life a lot easier. They give you a nice clean square cut edge, which needs to fit onto the shoulder of the fitting, so worth their money, I think. And then what you do is simply a case of assemble the nut and olive onto the pipe. This olive was very tight, but don't push it down too far. It's essential that when it goes on, it clamps on the pipe and the spigot that's below it. I used a little bit of this silicone spray on the spigot itself. I found that it helped the inside of the pipe slide onto the spigot and made it easier to push the shoulder right up to the joint. And then I just disassembled it and simply tightened everything up and make sure it was well clamped down. And finally I just put a bit of tape on the other end of the pipe just to stop any dirt and muck getting into it. So that's the fill point in position, and the bracket screwed up tightly. It's not going to go anywhere now. The fill pipe is temporarily finger tight on here, and I'm just marking out for the other end, and I want this to be a nice natural curve so there's no stress on the pipe. I'll just cut it there. So I'll go away, cut this, make the joint, and I'll refit it. One thing to remember when assembling this fill pipe is that the fittings require no sealant whatsoever. On this end you have a nut and olive, it's tightened down, the nut compresses enough to form a gas tight seal, and on the other end what you've got is a machine surface on this end and on the other end of the fitting, so that when they go together you tighten them up finger tight, then give them another half turn, and that is enough to form a gas tight seal. So no paste, no sealant, no nothing, all dry joints. And that is about it as far as the installation of the pipework, bracket and bottle goes. All the pipes have got a nice natural curve on them, so there's no stress on anything, and all I've got to do now is test the system for gas soundness. So it's off to find a petrol station that sells LPG. a garage that's just up the road from me actually, that sells LPG, so I'm nipping off to them. I'm going to fill the bottle up with a little bit of LPG first, then I'll gas test it and I'll leak test it with the spray, and if everything's sound then I'll fill it up. So the first thing then is to get the adapter nozzle fitted to the inlet plate, and this just screws on. It's only finger tight really because it's got an O-ring and it seats in. Line the nozzle up and then just simply lock the handle in position. Now I'll fill it up to about 20%, unlock the nozzle, release the gas, unscrew the actual nozzle part itself, and that's it, it's done, that's all there is to it. I'll come back later and fill it up to full after I've leak tested, and I'll use this leak test foam and spray it on all of the joints. Anywhere where I've made a joint or there's liable to be a fitting to fitting connection, spray it all over, and then undo the main inlet valve to the whole system and respray all the valves, and basically any connection, just give it a good covering of the foam. And when it finally finishes, you look at it, if there's any leaks you'll get 1001 bubbles, really big bubbles, to detect the leaks. And now just a quick check to see if the gas is running through the system. I just fired up the cooker and that's all running nicely. And there you go folks, that's it, finished, complete. I've got gas right up to the cooker, there's no leaks, and now I've got a totally refillable system. I've just got to pop back to the garage now and top it right up so that I have a full cylinder. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed the video, hope it's been useful, and for now, stay safe, look after yourself, and I'll see you on the next Rimbity Nomads video. So bye for now.